Today I want to do a video on the Generac Mobile Link Wi-Fi and why yours might be losing connection. I have had several issues over the last, since we've had it, of a strong signal, and then when I change something out, having no signal, having signal, and then having it just lose connection. So what I have done is I called Generac to start with, and this was maybe a year ago, and I told them what we had. So we have Google Wi-Fi, which is not a provider, but it's the mesh nodes, and these are not the Nest nodes. These are the non-speaker, non-microphone nodes, and we have those out here, so we can have decent coverage wherever we are on the property. And when I talked to Generac, they said that the mobile link system, Wi-Fi system in the generator does not like mesh networks. So at the time, I didn't have another option, and mesh works great for everything else. So I didn't really care too much. We still had a little bit of signal on there, and when I say little, I mean it was like up to maxing out at 8%. And there was a Wi-Fi node 4 feet behind the generator inside, and it was not connecting to that node. So when I tried doing some troubleshooting to figure out what was going on, about that time, several months ago, we had our generator service for the first time in years, just because we couldn't find anyone that was good. We finally found someone that was really good where we are, and this is a learning point for me. I did not realize that the generator could do firmware updates over the Wi-Fi connection. I thought it was just to know an update when the generator was running and what the status was on it. So we did the maintenance, and I tried figuring out what could be an option. And on the back of those Google Nest, Google Wi-Fi mesh nodes, I'll show a picture here. They have 3 connections. So they have a USB-C for power. They have an Ethernet in. That's if you're going to be your main connection point to your router, and then or your modem or whatever. And then they have the third connection is a second Ethernet port, so you can treat it like a hard line anywhere you have the signal to get it. So what I did is I went on Amazon and I purchased this router. I'll show a picture of it here. And it was really cheap. It was the cheapest one they had. It was, it was good for like, I think 600 square feet. It was very weak, but I needed something that could be a dedicated wireless router that I could sit just inside the house from the generator. And I did that, and I went through the setup process and then got it working. And then within about 6 hours, when I went on the app, it said it had no signal. And I went back, checked the router, everything was fine. When I went through and tried to read, there's one article that's, I'll see if I can find it and link it below, but I had trouble finding it a second time when I tried looking for it. And the recommendation was to lock in a channel for your router. So I went into the router, and the way you do that is you type in the IP address of what your router is. You can just Google it. Usually it'll pop up. Then you type it in, whatever your admin password and username is that you set up when you set up the router. You'll type that in, and then you'll go in, and then there'll be a section that will show usually wireless, and then there are going to be different selections. So for ours, we have a 2.4 and a 5, 2.5 megahertz and 5 megahertz. Yeah. And lock those channels in. So I picked 2 arbitrary channels and did the whole thing over again. I set the router down, went out to the generator, redid the Wi-Fi from scratch, did a full, fresh, everything. And it held. And then I waited about 6 hours, checked again, it held. I waited, I think a few more hours, and then I went in and checked the status, and we have very slow internet out here. And even with that, it went in and did a full firmware update on the generator. It was still holding, and the signal was, I think it's sitting at like 70%. So if you're having issues, that has been my solution to this problem is don't use mesh as the connection point. Just get a cheap router, put it near the generator and tie it into your home system. And then lock the channels that the generator is going to connect to. And I couldn't find anything in the manual of whether it was 2.4 or the 5. So I locked in both of those, and I have not had an issue yet. And anyway, that's it. Short, hopefully quick video, but router, no mesh, lock in the channels. Thank you for watching.